shared a couple of weeks ago about how sovereign individual, the book I read, how that applies or potentially applies to the future, or I was thinking how it kind of works out right now, or maybe in the future. But then more I started looking at things, it's already there, a different way than what I was thinking about. Whereas the sovereign individual talked about nationless man, essentially, there's no nation states anymore. There would be territories and all that stuff where, you know, like a city state, kind of like the Rome, in Rome, where, the Pope is, right? Vatican City, kind of it's a nation state, small city, nation state. Just giving you a famous example, I guess, where they have their own rules, own thing, everything, their own thing. It's just, I don't know what, a square mile or something like that. I forget. I've been there, but I forget. It's a size now. But the fact is, what's going on since 2020, the pandemic, the whole move from states to state within the US, where they don't like what their state is doing. For example, Californians and New Yorkers, a lot of them moving to Texas, Florida, whatever other southern states. And there was vice versa too. So there were some people moving from, obviously Texas or something because of whatever policies or rules they didn't like, to more policies or rules they like states, essentially, which is basically for, choosing to live where they like the rules, taxes, whatever the scenario is. And then the fact that, there's a lot of noise coming out. Texas always has been in US, independence, and Texas, basically always Texas is a, country kind of deal. That seems like it's going stronger. So, and with the way the politics are going, so on and so forth, it's not going to be a big surprise if, US kind of becomes like USSR, former USSR. That's the thought. That's what somebody was saying. And that kind of struck me pretty accurate, wherein all these states can be divided into different countries, no longer the big US. Will that happen? Who knows? That, you can't. But the likelihood of happening sometime, maybe not in the near future, but in the future, it looks very, very, very likely how divided the whole country is on politics and what they want to do, so on and so forth, and how bankrupt the US has become as far as centrally, how the policies are ruining. Like for example, Texas was cutting taxes while central, they're trying to increase taxes, so on and so forth. It depends, like California is going bankrupt. Francisco, for example, in some areas, it's worse than some of the, essentially, kind of like the third world country, almost. That's what I hear. I haven't been there, but that's what some people have said that it's become. Like people who have been to third world countries, or maybe not so developed countries, like you expect the, status that US is. US obviously top of the food chain, right? That's what we expect US as living in US. So in that way, what I'm thinking is it's already there. The sovereign nationalist, or a person without a nation, no allegiance. That concept will slowly go away, I think. We're still sticking to the old concept of nation state. I think that'll go away. Maybe you live in a certain, area, most predominantly, and then that area might be the tax, what's more tax friendly. Because if you truly look into how much taxes you're paying, when you start, counting the compounding interest and compounding effect of an investment at a 10%, all that stuff, you're paying hundreds of millions of dollars if you're well-to-do. Like if you're, let's say you're a high six figures person at least, right? If you're a high six person over the lifetime, 20, 30 years, the taxes, if you're paying high taxes, that amounts to hundreds of $1 million based on the returns and all that stuff. If you count like a conservative 10% return, it 100 million, and then some, it can go to billions of dollars if you're a millionaire, multimillionaire, based on the taxes you're paying versus the benefit you're getting. Bottom line, if people start looking at it that way, the nations where tax rate is high, people will start escaping, finding out different ways to, live in a country where it's not taxed heavily. And then maybe the investments go different areas that you don't concentrate. Anyway, those are the bottom line. What I'm saying is, or what I'm thinking is, that person without a nation is already there. I don't think it's like far off. You're already there. So anyway, I could be wrong, but those are my thoughts.